Welcome to the Athletes in Motion podcast, from race to recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Hey, Kenny, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Tom, how are you?
I'm fantastic as well. It's just the two of us today. I figured we'd do a little catch-up show and talk about some of the fun stuff we've going on. One first thing to mention is that we just hit a milestone of 7,500 downloads, which I thought was pretty cool. We crossed over that with 90. I think we're on 95, 94 episodes, 93 episodes, somewhere around that.
That's
We're
awesome.
just getting close to that 100 episode mark.
There you go.
So we want to thank
Shout out to
everybody for
Germany.
listening. Shout out to Germany.
Get us over
sure.
the mark.
Yeah, we're almost there. A few more downloads.
There you go.
We're doing really well. We're really appreciating everybody. We get some notes and some comments. I hear for some people every so often pop in that they're listening and they just enjoy the show. So we're going to keep at it. Hope everyone's appreciate everybody for sure. So we've got some good shows coming up. So we get a little bit of lulls in there because both myself and Kenny are pretty busy. So we're still doing this.
A darn full-time job thing, right? So
yeah,
waiting for those sponsors to help us turn this into, but we'll have to hold off a second. There you go.
Yeah, sponsored by TriTomR Endurance is. Let's talk about that. Yeah, good stuff to talk about today, though. Some interesting things. Where do we want to start? Well, everyone keep coming in with the notes, comments, thumbs up, 5 stars. All that stuff is really good. That keeps it out there and keeps it fresh. There is like a couple of days per month that we get like massive downloads, and then it dips off into a normal range. So it's kind of interesting how the algorithm works. But the more people like it, send a note, like just a little something there to let us know you're listening. Helps everybody. Helps gets it out there a little bit more. So we've been at this game for a little bit. Most podcasts make it. I think they said the average is 7 episodes.
There we go.
So
either we're too stubborn or too good. We can't figure it out. So probably both.
Ignorance is bliss. We just keep
There
plowing
you go.
ahead.
Who cares? Well,
We keep plowing ahead. So a couple of things we're going to talk about, like I've mentioned that I'm using this circular ring. It's called Circular Ring 2. So I've got an update on that, kind of my review. It's not very technical. It's also not very good, but that's, we'll go through all the details on that. I'm working on a project myself. We mentioned before that I actually have settled on a coach. I've hired a coach. I'm working on a coach. So we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like being on the other side again, because it's been a few years since that. But first off, because it's relatively fresh, only a week or so ago from when we're recording this, was watching Milan-San Remo race, the men's race. The women's race was exciting as well. Unfortunately, big crashes on that. That was horrible. But the men's race with Tade, Superman. It's just absolutely insane how he crashed so hard, managed to get up, and his words thought it was over. Like thought his chance was
any
over.
normal cyclist would, right?
Seriously, right? I would have been like, I've hit the deck before and I don't bounce. I get up very slowly and then I sit down someplace.
Yeah.
So to see them actually kind of like his teammates came back, 2 teammates came back and pulled him back up. And this is just before the big Suppressa climb, the first 2 big climbs, pulled him back to that, got him to the front of that. He was able to take off up the climb. They narrowed the field down to, just a few riders at this point. You've got Van de Poel, you've got Wout, Van Aert, amazing athletes descend like madmen on that. Then hit the next climb, whittle it down to a few more people, and then it's just him and Wout just duking it out for the longest sprint in history.
And how frustrating is Wout for that, right? I mean, you got an injured guy with a broken bike and you still can't beat him. Like, what do I have to do? Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact that he was
before that, he's probably, what do I have to do? Like, have the guy crash? He does, and still.
Yeah, he does. Wout went down with him too. Wout was in that pile up as well. So Wout came.
Yeah, but he didn't get quite as hurt, right? I mean,
no, he didn't get anywhere near. Anywhere near what Tade did. Yeah. So you got to be thinking that they were all working together, get up there. But pretty amazing. Epic when you come 200K and it comes down to a bike throw right at the line, and then to find out that he had a cracked frame and his disc brake was dragging.
A few hundred extra watts just for the fun of it.
Yeah, no big deal.
I mean, when you do crash, all right, you get back up from a crash, so you got that adrenaline going, so it works for you for the first 15 minutes. But once that adrenaline starts wearing off, it's sort of like, how you continue muscle, especially on the downhill. If you think about this, right, you're climbing, you're using it, but now you're your muscles are starting getting a little bit cold because you're coasting a ton and you're diving and moving. and that soreness of that fresh crash is sitting there just starting to,
God, yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, the guy's unreal.
Once the adrenaline wears off, for sure,
Yeah.
it's painful. And to watch him step up on the, to get the finishing stand, he put one leg up, and that left leg, he just kept straight, and he just kind of pulled it up, because you could tell that hip was just sore.
And
Actually,
to
I'll
outkick Wout when
probably
he did
take
that.
him.
I mean, that's the crazy thing about it, right? Because he's in front of him, right? So, the classic, is the guy behind is going to be the one that has the advantage. And
then he didn't wait for Wout to go. He just went.
Yeah.
And then that was enough. I think if there was another, I don't know, 25 yards up the road, Wout would have finally caught him at that point. But it was just
crazy.
It was very.
It's an interesting start to the season, right? So
yeah.
It'll be the classics are the fun ones, right? So
I love them. I just wish I could see the whole thing, because there's too many different streaming services, and I refuse to pay for every single one of them.
Yeah.
So, and it bounced back and forth with when there was what was it, GCN Plus, and they grabbed up most of the rights to the races. You saw everything all in one place. It was $100 a year. It's fantastic. And then it went to Flow Bikes, and then went to GCN Plus got closed down when Warner Brothers Discovery bought them. And then they took it over to Eurosport, and it's just, so it's all over the place at this point. So you end up probably spending $500 a year just to watch the different races. And I'm like,
well, it's getting that way across the board. I mean, NFL now, you can't, you have to Thursday if you want to. You have to have an Amazon account. You have to have a Netflix account. I mean, it's just getting insane, right? It's sort of like, remember, it was 3 channels and we were happy.
Yeah. We're back to cable TV. We have cable
we
TV,
kind of
only,
are, right?
Yeah. It's right back to the same bundles of, we're going to give you one network you want to watch, and then a whole bunch of other junk, and charge you $12 extra a month on top of everything else. So
and you don't even know, like, we sit there every night. We're like, was that a Netflix show? Was that an Amazon show? Was that an HBO show? I don't know. So we have to like look it up on our phone to figure out what streaming service it's on. But anyway,
oh well,
it's kind of crazy.
I'm just riding my bike more and not paying attention.
There you go.
So I catch on YouTube. I'll catch all the highlight shows.
Yeah.
So the circular ring. So this is a device I got on Kickstarter. I found a Kickstarter. So I've wanted to track my sleep more than anything else, just because I'm curious. I like data trends. I'm not like, oh, did I have a good night's sleep? Like, no, I know if I had a good night's sleep. I'm looking for, I don't know, validation, but I just like data points. And I like a lot of data points so that I can look and see trends. That's one of my, I guess, hobbies. I like trending, things that trend, and see, and then you can correlate them to how you're feeling or how your workout was. And then you can kind of look at that and see if there's any correlation. It's not necessarily causation, but there is, see what correlation is there. So I wanted to get the Aura Ring, but then they came out with the subscription, which is like $6 a month, plus, $300 for the ring. I was like, I just didn't want another subscription. So I don't know how I tripped across this on Kickstarter, came across my frame of view for this company called Circular Ring. Their second one that they've come out with. So the first one apparently was good. They have a new one. This one, if you on the app connect it to an ECG, you actually touch this and do this, it will actually monitor your heart in real time. So it's one of the only ones that has this option. Kind of neat. It has a whole AI like chat bot thing that like can help you breathing exercise and whole things, which I'm not really that interested in, but to see how it is. And then whether it could be used as a device for tracking activities, it's supposed to be able to do that as well. Real-time monitoring, sleep, HRV, all that typical stuff. And I didn't want my big watch, my Garmin watch on at night, because I'm afraid I'm going to kill my wife if I roll over. It's big, it's heavy, it actually makes my hand
apparently
go numb
a flopper,
if I sleep with it. Yeah.
You flop.
I something happens in my dreams. Like
you don't know. You don't know.
You never know. So it tripped across this. It was a couple $100. Like I said, Kickstarter. So I said, what the heck? Why not? It seemed good. They sold a lot more than they were anticipating, which was great. So I think they wanted a couple 100,000, and they ended up like 2 million. So you figure, okay, this looks decent, all the backing. It took them so that was like April, May, maybe it was end of April, beginning of May of last year, 2025. they didn't deliver the ring until August. So they were about 6 weeks behind schedule getting that all being made overseas. They were having enough issues with tariffs and everything else. So they got everything going. They got it all packaged. They got it shipped out. Boom, get the ring, put it on, wear it for 2 weeks, solid. And it seemed to do pretty good. Like it was tracking a lot of metrics and everything seemed good. Then it started to have some hiccups. And it turns out that the way they set up their back-end database, they went the cheap way. And then they sold too many rings and the data bogged down. So all of your time to connect and download and see what your data was taking forever or if not happening. And they kept insisting that it was there. It was just not getting back to you because of this backlog. So they redid the whole infrastructure on their
the
back
transport
end.
layer needs to be changed. Yeah.
Yes.
As a tech guy, that's what happens, right? You have all the data. You have the person that needs it.
Yeah.
It's the transport layer that needs work on. Yeah.
Right. So it was sort of work like 3 or 4 days and it wouldn't work. And then it was just like, it would take forever to download. So you can see the app, and the app was laid off pretty cool. It was pretty neat. You can change around, do some things. So that took them from August to December. It took them a very long time to go back and fix all of that. In the meantime, like I said, the data was on and off, on and off and on and off. January rolls around. We have high hopes. Like all of that's fixed. Everything's good. But I'm still getting maybe 3 days, 4 days before it just doesn't capture something right.
Do you
think in the meantime,
do you think it's a ring issue, or do you think it's
I don't know. That's hard to say. When I tried it earlier on with activities, it's not an activity tracker, just flat out. You can put it and have it do that. Besides draining the battery super quick, it counts the time. But basically, you pull up your app, you sell it to start tracking whatever, you put your phone in here, and then it goes into sleep mode. And then it basically I did it for a run, and it basically draws a straight line from the start to the finish and had no metrics, but it had the time. 50
so you ran
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
I was like, okay, so that's useless. I tried it on a bike, same thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work for an activity tracker whatsoever. But the ring thing I was trying to figure out. So I went, on their customer service tech link, which is their automated AI thing, and you put in some stuff and put some screenshots, and they had me go through and basically reset the whole thing, a factory reset on it, and then charge it and then put it back on. And it wasn't. It was like having me go to bed at 1 a.m., even though I'm asleep at 9.
Yeah.
Waking up at 3, 2 hours later, and of course telling me I have a terrible HRV, or telling me I have a great HRV. And then it wasn't tracking during the day, and then it would be spotty, and then it was, and then it wasn't. It was just weird. And they were like, well, maybe this is something else wrong. And then it wasn't tracking anything. And then I put it on the charger, just left it there for like 24, 48 hours, and then I put back on again, and it started working again. Kind of like it was 2 or 3 days, and then it was like wanky. So it's hard to say. I mean, I've got to pull up the serial number and then, send them a note to the next level tech service to see if they're going to, if I want them to send me a new one, or if I just want to give up on it and just say, it's just not working. Like it's been a long time and it's
and what's interesting, I think you bring up an interesting success sometimes can be a problem when I used to be a tech guy. Generally, if you're trying to hit a $200,000 thing and people want to give you money, you're like, this is awesome. No, well, okay. But then you hit a volume issue, to your point, where you have to then spend a bunch of money on larger server infrastructure. You have to spend a bunch of money on middleware, a bunch of money on that. And then, oh, by the way, hope your client doesn't die. Right. And how to troubleshoot that, because it's one thing, to your point, it's one thing to get data for the first 3 weeks. It's 3 months, 6 months down the line. And how do you troubleshoot to say it's actually whatsoever, either, we're going to have to send you a new ring because if the ring itself isn't working, or is it the data on the back end? That's why generally, if you're going to do these Kickstarter things, if you stop it at like, look, I want no more than 10,000 users, and just stop. It's better to say, hey, by the way, we've already filled it with 10,000 users, put people on a wait list, because that creates, cool stuff like, oh my gosh, and then you can incrementally add. And I think they went through the classic thing of like everybody, open the door to everybody, and then all of a sudden it's a mob, and you don't know how to do that. And now you piss off a lot of people rather than, some people.
But people were writing notes in and stuff like that because they took longer to sell stuff. They were being accused of not having a product. So they were literally in the factory, like snapping pictures of somebody putting one in a box, and they had stacks of them in there, and they could show all this. They were, look, we're working on it, because they had that many people, and they're not just doing this in the US. I mean, this is worldwide, right? So now they have to ship. Now they have to ship these things all over the place.
And that's not complicated at all.
And
that's what's funny, right? Is because when you thought you bought a product with software, right? And then what you find out is you have to have a logistics company within your company. And oh, by the way, you have to have a customer service department within your company. And to your point, most of them go to AI. So I had some software in my last company that I couldn't talk to actually a person. I would send an email, and then because it was in Australia, and then they would send an email back, maybe within 15 minutes or so. But like, I have a problem with this. This isn't working. And they're like, well, try this, this, and this. So it's an interesting problem as a small company when you're trying to start these little technology things. But the stuff you have to figure out is logistics. You have to figure out troubleshooting. You have to figure out customer support. And then, to your point, you said nothing about whether or not the fit of it feels good, or if it looks good, or if it feels comfortable. Your number one complaints are, I'm not getting the data I want, and I'm not getting answers I want on time.
It fits.
So
fine.
They did one thing right.
Yeah, it fits fine. It looks nice. I still kind of wear it because I like the ring look. I'm like, okay.
Well, do you like so if you had the Oura ring, and let's just say you said, okay, I'd rather just pay the monthly. By the way, there's why you pay the monthly, because it costs money to keep a server up. Do you like the idea of a ring? Like, let's start there first.
I do.
I agree with you. I don't want to watch. I'm seriously thinking about getting the Oura ring myself.
Yep. I like the idea of a ring. The Whoop band, I didn't like. I don't want something else on my wrist.
Yeah.
I don't wear the watch at night. I just wear it during the daytime and for track my workouts and all that other stuff. So I didn't want a band on both band.
Yeah.
But I was okay with a ring. I've worn rings before. I wear a wedding ring all the time. And I was like, I think I could do the ring. And that was part of like testing this out. It feels comfortable. Occasionally, if I'm trying to open a jar or something, I have to take it off because I don't, but aside from that, the ring it doesn't bother me when I'm sleeping. It doesn't, there's no issues with it. So to me, that's a plus.
So the next question then is, like you said, do you need, like, you already have a watch for tracking your runs. You already have a bike computer if you want to track your bike stuff. You already have a watch for swimming. I mean, the limited features you generally get with a ring, are you okay with that? Like the sleep patterns and getting data?
Really, I wanted to sleep.
So then it becomes a quality issue, right? So you like the idea of a ring. You like the idea that I'm okay with the limited features. I don't expect it to, know what my VO2 max is off of a ring, but I just need to have a consistent data set that I can rely on. But not the joke, but you may not measure the right watts on your bike. Like, it may be inaccurate. As long as it's consistently inaccurate, then it's okay, because I'm pulling 240. You're pulling a $140. But that's all right. As long as it says 240 every time, then you can see the difference between it. Yeah, consistently. So that's an interesting thing. Yeah.
And that's where I was just kind of like, well, if I'm not feeling good, can I look back and go like,
correct.
Well, there's data that's not consistent, and that's consistent with what I'm feeling. Is just like, okay, I don't look at it. I know I've talked to a couple of coach friends and some other folks who are just kind of like, they don't like the HRV trackers and stuff, or the sleep trackers, because they feel like you're stressed. It causes more stress for some people to think that I need to sleep well. I need to sleep well because I want a high score. I want a good score on my sleep thing. And I'm like, I don't care what the score
Type
is.
A personality that wants the prize.
Triathletes, really? Endurance athletes?
Give me the gold star.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an interesting phenomenon, but also as you move into, like, you're making changes in food, or you make change in supplements or sleep habits, or, you're trying to correlate, like, hey, I'm going to switch, I've been having some GI issues. So I've been trying to figure out, different supplements, but those supplements may have an effect on my sleep. So that's kind of the reason why I like the idea of having the ring, is to say, okay, I changed this part. Does it affect this part? Or what does my sleep look like?
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
I totally get having a subscription model like Oura has.
Yeah.
So it's $6 a month. It's really not that bad when it comes down to it. You still pay for the ring because you need to. It's hardware. It costs money. There's something there. But it was really neat at first with this one. It was just kind of like, and there'd be no subscription costs ever. Yeah. Right. And it was just kind of like, well, I paid like just over $200 for the ring.
Yeah.
As a Kickstarter. It's selling now, I think, for $350, maybe.
Yeah.
I see some of their ads pop up and I haven't looked at the final price on it, but I just sat there and went, the only way they can sustain building more and more into it is to sell more and more rings, which ultimately bogs the system down,
Yeah.
or
They're exacerbating the
potentially
problem.
could,
Or
right? So
you have to add features to the new ring or to the existing ring, a new ring that your existing ring doesn't have, and you have the iPhone thing where you have to constantly get a new
yeah, then
iPhone.
you're constantly upgrading,
But
right?
so the iPhone keeps you on a subscription service for the data, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, data's
to
king.
get you on that. So it's
I mean,
it's interesting.
to your point, I like the idea of trying that business model, but that business model is because you're exacerbating your data problem because you have to sell
Yeah,
more rings, and
yeah.
therefore you have to buy more data, which costs more money,
Money, and
bigger
how do
pipes,
you
and yeah,
there's no R&D left, right? Like
yeah,
you have to keep
yeah,
developing the software, you
yeah,
have to keep developing. I think the
yeah,
hardware is probably set, and then it's just developing the software that goes through. So I mean, having the AI assistant type thing that helps you, it's got some potential on it. It seemed really good. It was very interactive. When I was doing the tech support, I just, it was like I just put some couple screenshots of what my data looked like, and they're like, "Okay, we see where this isn't working. Blah blah blah. Do this, this, and this," and I do that, and they come up, and it's like, "Okay, now this," and we just kind
mm,
of went through the things, and
yeah,
a couple times where it's like come back the next day, and they're like, I continue the conversation. They're like, well, you need to do these 3 steps. And I'm like, I did those 3 steps yesterday. Look at the notes above. And they're like,
yeah,
oh, we see that you did those 3 steps. So it was like, you just had to remind it
yeah,
that this is an ongoing thread. And it was on top of it right away. And it was like, okay, you're going to need to go to this website and blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
And, go through all of this. That was the next step. So it was easy. It was very instantaneous to deal with tech support in that sense. It's the same system that's supposed to give you advice on
mm,
your daily habits and sleep and all of this other stuff,
yeah,
which that I don't trust because the data's not good. If the data's not good, it can't give you advice on stuff. So that's where that part breaks down for me. It was like, if the data's solid, it can probably come up with great ways to help you. And, it's got some great features. I haven't experienced using the Aura Ring, so I can't compare the two, but just disappointed, like not being able to
yeah. I
get
mean,
what I
that's the thing
wanted
with
out of it.
Kickstarter, right? I mean,
Yep.
the question becomes: as an early adopter, are you okay with the pain,
Yeah. And
or
and up to
yeah,
this point, I didn't say anything. Like I've never
yeah,
bagged on them. I've never sent them
yeah,
nasty notes or anything because I knew it was a Kickstarter thing. And I'm like, when they delivered late, I'm like, I'm just happy if they
yeah,
deliver, right? They delivered in August. I'm like, great. The ring's here. It's beautiful. The box is great. The ring looks
yeah,
nice. I put it on. Like, look, it fits. Like,
yeah,
okay. And then you just start wearing it. It charges quickly in like an hour. You get up in the morning, and an hour after you're up, just connect to your app and just have it download. And it's like, here's all your numbers. And when it worked, it was great. So kind of, anyway, that's
Well,
my
yeah. I'm
two
curious to
cents on
see
it.
if
It's
you
kind of,
keep it. Yeah. So
yeah,
the story will continue, right?
I don't know what I did with the box. So if I can, like, I think
Well, you
we
spent
cleared out.
$200 on it. I mean, honestly, you go out to a good
Yeah,
dinner, that's $200. So
I
yeah,
know. And
yeah,
at this point, it was just kind of like, I probably just won't get anything.
yeah,
I was thinking, well, I'll go get an Oura Ring. I was like, well, I don't want to spend another
yeah,
$300 plus another subscription fee. So I think I'll probably put this to rest for a while. Spending money on other things, not going to worry about this because I feel confident. I know what my sleep is like when I have a good night's
yeah,
sleep. So
yeah. And I think that's what most reviews and studies I've seen on any ring-based or otherwise has always been, well, look, I mean, if you're monitoring sleep and you want to see, like, to your point, if you want to see causation or correlation, at least, that's what it's good for. If you're expecting
yeah,
more from it, don't.
yeah,
But yeah, and I have a way that, I just got an Amex card and they have a $200, I think, coupon actually for
there
an
you go.
Aura Ring, and I've been wanting to do it. But to your
There you
point,
go.
I've been hesitant. But we're gonna take off for Europe here in a couple of weeks, and I'm thinking about getting it just to see how that
Oh, yeah.
interacts. Right? Like, hey, what
Yeah.
does it
Yeah.
look like when I'm on a plane? What does it look like when when I'm in different time zone? That kind of thing. So,
Yeah. This
but
thing got a little stupid
every
when I
time I
went
talk to you
into a
about it, I'm
different
always
time zone.
intrigued by it. So yeah, I think
It's,
we'll let the
it's neat.
story continue. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's neat. I still like the idea.
yeah,
We'll see if we're spending money on it or
yeah,
not. But if you do it for sure, we'll,
yeah,
we'll compare the two, and then that'll be a good
Yeah.
good selling point. So.
Sure. Well, let's
Cool.
see what Coach Tom gets for a coach. So
Yeah. So I talked about, I teased this, I think, a couple of times on
Yeah.
some shows that I was interviewing some coaches. I had some projects and some things I wanted to do with me that I was pretty confident that I needed some help with. So long story short, I want to go back to Lake Placid Ironman.
nice.
I'm going to focus a lot on short course, but I do have 2 long course races that I really want to get to, and I want to go back to Lake Placid. I love
Nice.
that race so much. I was better 14 years after the first time I did it, but my training wasn't as consistent and very structured as I wanted it to be going into 2024. Like I said, I did well. I PR'd the race. I was happy, but I just love that so much. Doing well there would be a step into getting into the Ultraman World Championships that following November. So that would be the second piece.
Welcome
So
to Crazy
I would
Town.
like to go back to finish that healthy. So I've done that race twice. I got injured in the middle of the first one, and I was injured going into the second one. We covered that ad nauseum, I think. That was back in 2019. So my goal is to go back to that. So looking at that realistically, I needed a 2-year ramp up. There's no way I can get ready for either one of those races to do things healthy and proper. Last year didn't train much. Like took a lot of time off. We had family issues, we had health issues and other things going on. So it was like that set me back a little bit. So I decided to do this. There was a couple things. As a coach, I always want to learn from another coach. I want to learn from other people. So I was looking for coaches that I could get as a mentor. And part of the ways that I like to learn is to do. I can read all day long. I can get the information in, but I'm not really good at spitting it back out right away. I have to do it. Then it makes more sense to me. It's just how I learn a little bit differently. So it was like how I like to experiment on certain things like the ring or whatever else is to do it myself, read about it, learn the science behind it, experiment a little bit more. And then that's where I gained my knowledge. So I started looking around for coaches for that. And I said, well, this project, which I call it a project, it's truly a project, is to get me ready and good to go all the way through Ultraman World Championships in 2027. 2027, I will be turning 60 years old. That's the other piece. So I age group up in the beginning of 2027. I turned 60 at the end of the year, probably a month after the race. So I'll be in the 60 to 64 age group for both races. And I went, how's this going to work?
Yeah.
So started interviewing some people, started talking. Yeah. And one of the best things you can do when you're looking for a coach is to talk to multiple coaches. I was just talking to an athlete the other day who was saying that she wasn't happy with a coach. She was going to talk to another one. And I said, talk to 3 or 4 before you make a decision. And we're like, well, I'm going to talk to this one. And if it feels good, then I'm going to go with them. And I'm like, talk to multiple coaches. You don't have to commit to a coach when you talk to them. I mean, their job is to sell you stuff, right? So they want you on the squad. So they will ask you, but you don't have to say yes. You can just keep talking. Don't drag it out for 6 months and waste their time, but have a couple of conversations, come back with some questions, and just learn different styles of different coaches. So I did that. I did that with a few. Ended up choosing Chris Bagg up in Bend, Oregon of Campfire Endurance.
No kidding.
Chris is a ex-pro cyclocross triathlete. I mean, he's got some stuff which was great, but he's been coaching for, I don't know, 18 years, something like that. Younger than me, which is great because it brings a little bit more energy
at this point, Tom,
to the whole thing. At this point in time, everybody's
we're both aging up.
Yeah.
So they're all younger.
With my conversation with him, and he's online, you can find his podcast and a lot of his stuff on his YouTube channel is great. And I felt like we had a really good connection, and he was very excited to come on board and do, kind of work through this project. So, and we started February 1st. So we're a couple months in, and it's been fun. It's been great. I'm learning a bunch of different things. I'm coming up with some new workouts. I'm also learning different coaching cues. And that's what I think is one of the things that I find the most challenging, but the most fun is different cues work for different athletes. So you can't just give the same thing over and over again. So I'm learning different cues that he uses, and we get to talk about why he's using different cues certain ways. We get more into the nitty-gritty than you would with your coach normally, but he's mentoring as well as coaching on this thing. So I'm learning a lot. I'm very excited about working with him, teaming up. He's coached some good names, some amazing athletes, has a great community, and he's very mellow, low key.
Yeah, if you've ever been to Bend, it's probably one of the best places to train. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yep.
So
yeah,
wow.
We almost moved there. We came close to moving there.
And it's for good reason.
I made multiple trips up there.
So what kind of client are you? Do you stick to the program? Do you do 90% of it? We won't talk about me because, I suck at this thing.
That's not the same.
Every coach is like, you're the person that we try to train for.
Yeah.
But how do you consider yourself so far? Have you stuck to the program?
I stick to the program, but I'm not like nuts on everything, right? And this is something that Chris and I had talked about. One of the things that he always says is if he sees you hitting every metric and making every single workout green, there's something wrong. And then he sees that as a red flag, as like, the workout says you need to go to, you need to do whatever the mileage is on the bike, 40 miles on the bike, and you do exactly 40. And make it green, or even if you're exhausted, you're doing whatever. Yeah. He wants to see a couple of red missed workouts in the month. He wants to see, if the swim is supposed to be 2,600 yards and you come in at, 2,583 or 2,900 or 3,000 or whatever. He wants to see a little bit of that. And I'm that way naturally. If I finish my run and I come up and it's 5.93 miles to my house, I'm done. But I know people that have to run in circles 100%. Until they get 6, right? Yeah. So I'm not, we had long discussions about, the type of athlete and stuff. So I'm following his workout pretty much to plan. I'm not changing anything of his. Love seeing how it's all playing out. We just did a big testing week. Heck, that's been a couple weeks ago now. We went 4 weeks of just kind of getting back into it. And we did a week of testing. And kicked my ass. Good. Saw where my numbers are, which on the bike was a little disappointing. Yeah. Because that's definitely regressed. But that's okay because those are numbers where we're at right now. So we, kind of said, okay, here's where the plan is. Funny thing is, since I've been in the fall, October through the end of January, I've lifting weights 3 times a week, building muscle mass. So I'm heavier than I was like in the previous couple of years. Yeah. Not that you'll notice, right? I'm just a little heavier than there's a few pounds. I'm not Kenny over here with, I'm completely bulked up. But I've probably added about 5 or 6 pounds.
Yeah. That's
more
a good
muscle mass, which is great. And my endurance has gone down. So my short-term power is up, but my endurance is down. And it's hilarious because it was like, once we were looking at that, I was like, oh, well, I've just been lifting weights. So, of course, I have more strength and more power so I can push watts for a very short amount of time, but the fade off is more than it should be. So we're just adjusting my workout to get me to that long endurance tail.
Yeah, and the bad secret, I was 188 pounds when I went into Ironman California, and I'm at 215 right now, and I have the same waist size, so it's all muscle. And trust me, when you hit a 6% grade hill, your watts don't make up for the, it's like, it's all top end. Like, and suddenly you're like, I may like the way I look, but dang, it does me zero good on a 2-mile climb. It's like, this sucks. Yeah. So, it's I mean, it's just a tough balance when you're trying to, I mean, you want to have muscle because you need that sort of that kick, that power.
You need that power.
At the same time.
Yeah.
But you have to balance.
It's good to have that endurance and that balance. Yeah. So you set the workouts set up to build certain things and certain muscles and certain, aerobic systems, which is great. So we're focused on bike. We're focused on swim. Key thing is like lots of, to be like, I need to really bring my swim up to get through Ultraman, to get to Ultraman, actually for both races, to really take it to another level, which is, a minimum of 3 days a week, pushing, 3,000 yards and getting up there. And that's just the start, right?
So when you have I'm always curious about a remote coach. Is the assumption you already know form and you don't need to worry about sort of that? Like you don't have to worry about your run form or your
video.
swim? No, you
do
do.
video for that. Yeah, he's got a training camp that I would go to, but I have a work weekend. That's Music City Tri here, and I'm like, I just can't. So part of it would be to go to the training
Got
camp,
it.
and then I would get all the analysis on the swim and bike and run and all that would be done in person right there. So what we're going to do for this is that I'm going to send him video in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
From the pool, and then he's going to be able to work on that. A lot of it is I know the form, but it's good to have eyes on it. Like it's good to have eyes anyway. There's a few different tools that we're using and different ways of doing it because he's a Swim Smooth swim coaching instructor, which is a different company out of Australia. Interesting. So it gets you like the coaching gets me a membership into that. So I have a whole litany of videos showing the different forms and the different techniques and drills and things on there. So that's really great. So it's helping me a little bit more on that side of things. So there's some interesting drills that we're doing and working on, and it's helping. I mean, it's like 4 weeks before the swim started to get to where it was supposed to be. And then it's okay. Now we're starting to make improvements. We got back to almost where I was when I left off over a 6-week period. And then now we can start to push forward and make some progress on it. And so I'll have him see some videos so I can, just correct my position a little bit more. So yeah, the rest of it's all online. It's all through Training Peaks. So he sees the data that we tie into and then he tracks it. There's an app that Training Peaks has called WKO, which actually takes all of that data and then draws it out so you can see your peaks and valleys and stuff. So it's kind of interesting on that side.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting, the fact you went with somebody out of Oregon where you're in Tennessee, right? And that's an interesting kind of, because some people need kind of to have their coach nearby. Some people are perfectly okay with remote.
Yep.
And I think your maturity level of where you're at, because you've done this stuff before, it's not like, you're not just now getting in the pool trying to figure out why is it that is my hand crossing over or not? What you need is somebody that gives you structure.
Yep.
And feedback based off of that structure.
Yeah.
And say, okay, you need to do that. So it's an interesting
how we're building the workouts.
Yeah.
I do the homework, so that's never been an issue. Even when I went to PT for injuries, they'd be like, just give me what I need to do, and I'm going to go home and do it. And they're just kind of like, oh, we know you're the type of person that's going to go do their stuff. I don't skip workouts like unless I'm not feeling good or, I'm exceptionally tired, then, and all of that is notes back and forth, right? The more notes you can give your coach, I like that for my athletes where they can give me a whole litany at the end of the workout of like, okay, that gives me an idea of like, how do you feel? How does it feel? A lot of it was tying together RPE, your rate of perceived exertion. I think the first 4 weeks, we didn't look at power meters or anything. He's like, I want you to, here's what my zones look like. Here's what the standard zones 1 through 6 Coggins zones are. And then we want to go, this is what I want your rate of perceived exertion on a scale of 1 to 10. We want a 3. This is what it should be like. So we start setting what that rate is. And you're like, oh, okay. And now we did the week of testing. And now we can go, okay, that's 140 watts is my Z2, right? Or 150 watts is, getting into Z. So now we can attach some numbers to that feeling. And then we can kind of go from there and kind of build up. So
that's,
it's fun.
When I race, that's I do basically, trying to watts, like on the bike, it's watts, it's turnover, and it's RPE, almost entirely RPE. Like I don't, if I'm going slow or fast, it's the exertion because like, I don't know what the variable is. I could be cold. My muscles could be tight, right?
There's so much.
I'm normally supposed to be going this speed and this, this amount of watts, but when you're out of a water at 65 degrees, your quads aren't quite, they're not waking up as fast as you think so, right? But so it's all that RPE. It's like, I feel like it's a 7 when it should be a 3. Yeah, well.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
and I guess
we're so tied. I think just to finish that, we're just so tied with numbers sometimes, it's like for people to do it once in a while, put your Garmin in your pocket or put your watch, take your watch and start it, but put it in your pocket and then find out. You may find out actually you're a much better or faster person because you're not constantly like, well, I shouldn't be here. Oh, I shouldn't be right here. Just try it sometime and see what RPE does. It's kind of
it's actually very freeing not to be staring at your watch or having it beep at you when your pace needs to be a certain thing.
Yeah.
The reason I'm all congested is because I've spent a lot of time in the pool and a big workout this morning. So yay for chlorine. Love that. One of the other things that I really like talking with him and listening to him and getting a lot of data back from him is that it gives me a little bit of validation on my coaching. So we talk about like levels of experience. I have levels of experience. What I'm trying to now do is get to a level of mastery.
Yeah.
And the level of mastery is working with someone that's much better, that's going to teach me a lot of that stuff, that's going to allow me to get to the next level of coaching and my coaching ability. So that's what we're kind of looking at. But the stuff that I am doing is being validated as correct because that's the same stuff he's going through. And we're talking about that.
Good.
It's like, okay, good. I feel validated a little bit because these workouts that I was doing and the reason why I was giving these to my athletes and how we were conversing and the cues that I was going are all legit, all kind of there. I got the same experience when I went to the Cab to Show in Chicago earlier this year with the bike fitters, and the bike fitters were explaining bike fitting to non-bike fitters, and I was like, yeah, I do that exact same thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Validation that like we're all talking the same language and I'm not off in left field coming up with something
and I
crazy.
think for this market, right, there's not a whole lot of you in this market. And so to your point, being able to just be able to have peers to talk to and say, hey, this is how I'm doing it. Are you doing it? Yeah, this is how we're doing it. Just like you said, it's like sometimes you're an island, right? Because you're focused on clients and you're focused on, getting your work done, and you don't have a whole lot of like, there's a group of 16, bike fitters around Nashville that are sitting down at dinner.
Get
once
together
a
and have
month
dinner.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
We got some Facebook chats back and forth, but that's about it.
Yeah.
That it goes through. But so it's been good. I'm kind of excited about it.
Cool.
Just as a project.
You sound excited. What's nice is you're giddy about it. Like, hey, I got this is something new, both from a peer perspective, but also from just learning and having somebody holding you accountable. And sometimes that's kind of a fun sometimes to just say, hey, you build a program. That frees you up also from it. It actually may help you out in the fact that because you're only focused on that, I just need to know all I got to do is swim today because the rest of the stuff is being taken care of. So that should be fun for you.
Yeah.
And
I was backing off some of my workouts when I was busy because I was trying to take care of my athletes and then putting my program together was like, I need to get like, I was doing okay with it, but it was more stressful. Right.
Yeah.
So now I can go like, he's looking at the big picture. He knows what it is. This is going to be a long haul 2-year deal. So you can start building on that and look at the bigger picture. And then I can focus on my athletes. And I think I'm just more connected to my athletes this year.
Good.
So I feel really good about that.
Cool.
So it's cool.
Like I said, we got a couple ongoing stories here. Will the ring survive? Will I not fling it into the trash at some point? Exactly.
We'll keep it.
Same thing on your coach. Will you not fling him in the trash at some point too? Right there.
Yeah, we did after 6 weeks. So we connect twice a month. Well, video chat twice a month. I mean, that's part of like he's a very what I refer to as a high touch coach. Yeah. Like we're constantly talking. But after 6 weeks, I think I was just kind of like, okay, just checking. Still cool? Like you're like you're not going like, oh boy, this is a crazy one. I shouldn't have said yes. Now's your turn to back out, right? If you want, you can go off. And he was like, same for you. I was like, we're good. Yeah, we're cool.
Good. Well, good. That sounds exciting.
So fun stuff.
So
So
what do we have coming up on a future podcast?
We've got Bike
Spill
Tennessee.
The beans. Nice.
We've got Bike Tennessee. We've got Jenny Veal from Bike Tennessee, who's connected with Shannon Burke, who is Tennessee Gravel, does some work with Bike Tennessee. Bike Tennessee is part of Visit Tennessee. So it's our state government program about cycling all around Tennessee. So I think Shannon's come up with over 50 segments around Tennessee. They're on the website. You can get the GPX files. You can get everything. You can see where they are in the different areas. And they're anywhere from, 15, 20 miles to 100 miles plus.
That's it.
So we're going to talk to Jenny, who heads up that program, and that's going to be one of our next episodes that comes up. It's going to be great. She's fantastic. She's very excited. She likes to ride. She's doing good things. So and I'm excited. The more we ride in Tennessee, we've been here for 5.5 years now, and it's like let's do more. There's great riding here. There's really good riding. So we've got Jenny coming up. Then we're going to have I'll say our favorite race directors. They're in the top 3 or 4 with Joe Fleenor and Faye Yates back on to talk about the state of triathlon, not just in Tennessee, but, short course racing, and see where the sprint and Olympic distance stuff is and what's going on with that. And then we've got some fun partnership stuff that I'm going to do with them. We're going to announce coming up. It's going to be good too. We're working on the details of some of that. So that's a couple of the ones we've got coming up, and then reached out to a couple other folks. So it's like herding cats. trying to get everyone's schedules all together. So we'll have a bunch really all together, and then all of a sudden there'll be a little dead space. So subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, everybody,
There you
because
go.
have it ring the bell when we pop back up, because we do.
There you go.
We keep surfacing and bringing up some good content
There you
for
go.
everybody. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Fun stuff. So I think that's it for now. This is
Yeah.
pretty good. It's a good show.
Yeah. It's good.
So
Good follow up, Tom.
thanks,
Well-
everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sending some notes. Keep those subscriptions going. Keep the thumbs up, 5 stars, all that good stuff. Helps us out. And if you've listened this far into the episode, thank you. Appreciate you making it
There you go.
almost to the end. And I will be updating when I get some time to edit the new intro outro for the YouTube channel, because it still has our friends from the coffee house on there, which we're really not partnered with anymore. But they're still getting some free advertising out of us
There you go.
at that point. So whatever. One of these days I'll get around to actually re-editing an intro and outro for that on the video side. So if you're looking at our wonderful, beautiful faces on YouTube,
There you go.
hi. Thanks. Appreciate that. And listen everywhere you can. So Kenny, as always, fantastic. Appreciate you. And everybody, we'll catch you on the next one.